Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, Christine. Hello,
Hi.
Joanne.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Samantha.
Hi, Wade.
Hi. Well, good morning to all of you, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. And hello to all of our loyal guests, and to our new guests, of course, and to our valued travel advisors. So hello to all of you, and welcome to today's Sip and Sail. You know, at Sip and Sail, we're always happy to walk down memory lane with you and share special memories from the cruises on the rivers, and hopefully inspire you as well to join us on a future cruise sometime in the near future. Joining me today for this Sip and Sail, we have behind live moderators to answer any of your questions or your comments. Any favorite crew member or cruise manager and Executive Vice President Kristin Karst. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Wade, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Thank you for giving us your precious time, and thank you for bringing together with us the holiday spirit of the season 2023. We look forward to a most magical hour together with you, and of course, with all our guests here.
Well, and we have special guests with us tonight, Christine. Well, tonight, I say tonight because I'm in Serbia right now on board the AmaWaterways. So it is nighttime here, but we have special guest speakers. I'd like to start with someone who I think all of you know by now. It's Samantha Brown, who's not only an Emmy Award winning TV show host of her own PBS show, Places to Love, but also part of our AmaWaterways family, and of course the godmother of the Ama Magna, which was christened on the Danube River 2019. Remember, Samantha, we had a fabulous time there. And we love having you and your lovely family on board of our ships. You've cruised several times with us and with some of your Facebook friends as well. So welcome back to you, and thanks for joining us for the Sip and Sail.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, you're very welcome, Samantha. We also have someone else who I think all of you know as well. This is Joanne Weir, award-winning chef and cookbook author and PBS TV show host as well. AmaWaterways is a proud sponsor for the last 4 seasons of Plates and Plates, a wonderful show. And Joanne, you've been on our ship several times with your film team, cooking with our onboard chefs. It's been a fantastic experience. I know you enjoyed it as well. And I know you're very busy opening your second restaurant called Copita in the San Francisco Bay Area. So congratulations to you on that. And thank you also for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for the Sip and Sail. We have 2 cruise managers with us here tonight as well, 2 of our wonderful AT cruise managers. I'd like to start with Nikki Drinkwater. Nikki, you're originally from the UK. You've lived all over Spain, and currently you're living in Portugal. You're a wine lover, a wine expert. You are one of our wonderful European wine hosts doing all of our European itineraries. So a big welcome to you, and thank you for joining us for the Sip and Sail too.
Hi, Wade. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
You're welcome, Nikki. And Camille, who joined us as cruise manager back in 2016 when we met in Lyon, France. But Camille is originally from Belgium, but was raised in France and in Arizona, currently living in Rouen in Normandy in France, and doing all of our French itineraries, as well as many upper Danube itineraries. So a big welcome to you, Camille.
Thank you, Wade. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Well, and thank you so much, Wade, for this wonderful introduction. But I know you want to continue, right? No? All good?
Yes, I think, always it's so nice if we can start with a nice toast at the Sip and Sail.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, thank you all for spending this wonderful hour together with us. Welcome, Samantha. Welcome, Joanne, Camille, and Nikki. And thank you, our travel advisor partners and guests, especially the ones who have joined us today and the ones who also came to our holiday open house just on Tuesday this week. It was so wonderful to also personally see you again, to plan for the future. And now we plan to take you on a little journey, sharing some of our fondest memories of the wonderful sights, sounds, and tastes that are waiting to be discovered along the rivers during the different seasons of the year. So before setting out on our little adventure today, I wanted to wish everyone the very best of this festive season on behalf of our entire AmaWaterways family. Now, Thanksgiving was a celebration that happened 2 weeks ago on all our ships, and our guests enjoyed a special turkey dinner and got to visit a couple early opening Christmas markets already. Our ships were magically transformed with all the holiday sparkle, and we are starting our countdown to Christmas now. It is the time of the year where we are reminded most of how precious time is, and looking at our children and grandchildren, how quickly it passes. It's so important to make plans to create those memories that last a lifetime. And I wanted to give a very special shout out again to all our travel advisor partners that are joining us today, as they are truly magicians, helping their clients to fulfill their travel dreams come true. So, and I always like to start our Sip and Sail with a quote and a toast. And this one is dedicated to you, our travel advisors and guests. Travel opens our heart, it broadens our mind, and it fills your life with stories to tell. Here is a toast to you who help us fill our lives with wonderful stories to share. Toast and cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. Cheers to all of you. And like Kristin said, especially to our wonderful travel advisor partners who bring us so many special guests and making those memories here, on board of the ships. So Samantha, Joanne, Camille, we're going to see you a little bit later and ask Nikki to stay with us as we start, let's say, on a journey through the seasons with AmaWaterways, and we're going to start with spring. As we move to the next slide, you'll see wonderful images of the spring season. I personally love cruising in the spring, and there's the next slide. You see that wonderful image of the tulips. I love spring because, and especially in the Danube, and Kristin, you would know this, being, from Dresden, but just a little bit south from there, you have all of the Easter markets. And I'm not sure if Dresden has Easter markets now, but Vienna, Prague, Budapest, Bratislava have the most amazing Easter markets. And it's nothing like the Christmas markets. They're like arts and crafts markets, lots of seasonal foods and eggs, so many eggs, decorated, hand-blown eggs, decorative eggs. So be sure to go online, check Vienna Easter markets and Prague Easter markets. They're starting around mid-March and going until Easter, which I think is March 31st in 2024. And some of those Easter markets go until around April 7th. So Easter markets. Nikki, I know you love cruising in the spring. What would be something you love in the spring?
Well, I love cruising in general in spring because everything's blooming. It's so beautiful, whether you're in France, in Germany, doesn't matter where. But for me, it's synonymous. You hear river cruising, you hear spring, it has to be tulip time. Absolutely. It's incredibly beautiful. We go to Kokenhof Gardens. It's just an incredible sight. As you saw on the previous slide, just Chile as far as the eyes could see. I think they plant like 7 million bulbs, one by one, over 80 acres, and it's an incredible sight. So, I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in spring; it's always beautiful, but it's just extra special on the Chile Town cruises.
Nikki, did you see that slide of Kuchenhof here? Did you know that next year is the 75th anniversary of Kuchenhof?
Oh, wow.
And they just started planting the bulbs last month in October, and I was reading every single bulb is planted by hand. Just amazing. 7 million bulbs by hand. Truly amazing. And Kristin, I know that you also are a big fan of Kuchenhof in springtime.
Well, obviously I am, but I have to really smile. I see Diane here, our director in Florida, creating some chocolate here, because the Tulip Time cruise is not just about tulip time. We go and see these wonderful cities in Holland and Belgium, and chocolate, of course, is a big part in Belgium. But I would love to share some feedback from Oslin, one of our solo traveler guests who joined us for a Tulip Time cruise. And Oslin is saying, I love the included tours, from tasting raspberry beer for the first time to admiring the historic windmills at Kinderdijk, making Belgian chocolate, exploring Tulip Time bulb cultivation, basking in the beauty of vibrant flower fields along the roadside, and even visiting Kuchenhof and Floriade. So this journey turned into a profound experience of self-discovery and renewal, both on and off the sailing. It provided me with the opportunity to rejuvenate and reconnect with myself in the most beautiful way. I believe it's an experience that can resonate with so many women. The laughter, dinners, and great conversation with perfect strangers. What a beautiful way to say it. And obviously, I do see many solo travelers on board, many women, but also men as solo travelers. More and more coming now on board our ships for many different reasons. But they all feel they become part of a community, of our extended AmaWaterways family. They get to know so many other fellows. They make friends, and they will come and cruise together with their new friends the next time. And that's just such a wonderful way to really go, hopefully, into the next river cruise. But back to you, Wade.
Travelers here on the AmaVerde this week, actually, and it was so touching to see them getting to know each other when we did the Christmas tree decorating just a couple of nights ago. And behind me is one of the trees decorated by guests on board. And I was listening to the solo travelers getting to know each other, asking, where they're from. And, they're not strangers anymore. It's like welcoming on board. So that was a beautiful story that you told. So, well, going back to spring though, and getting in touch with yourself and rejuvenation, like you were talking about, next slide, please. You'll see that spring is a wonderful time, particularly for the active walks and the hiking and the biking. And this is something wonderful that we offer on all of our excursions at AmaWaterways, are the active tours. Would you like to tell us a little bit about those, Kristin?
Of course, Wade. Thank you so, so much. Of course, spring for all of us means it's a new life. It's a new year. It's coming with all the blossoming of the trees, especially the apricot trees along the Danube in the Wachau Valley. Of course, the ones who know me know that the apricot is my favorite fruit. When I see the trees in blossom, then of course I come back in July when the apricot get harvested, when we are able to taste them in so many different versions. But it's all about the senses that are activated with the bursting of life, or the sounds, the sights, and the tastes of spring, the song of the birds, the warm sunshine, the gentle breezes perfectly set the scene for our guided biking tours. And our European ships are all equipped with a fleet of 25 complimentary bicycles, including 2 smaller sized bikes for children, except of our ships in Portugal, because Portugal is very hilly, very curvy. So there we don't do the bike tours as we do along all the other rivers in Europe. And our bike excursion guides, they come along. We usually group into groups of 20 guests maximum. We have one guide in the front, one local guide in the back, so that everyone can go in their own pace, as well as our AmaWaterways dedicated wellness host, usually accompanying the group. So Nikki, tell us a little bit about the bike tours from your own perspective.
Yeah, I'm a very keen biker and I live in Porto, so I totally understand the hills here. But our bike tours, they vary as well. You can go from 5 miles up to 20 miles. One day, we could be going from the ship riding through the European Parliament to Strasbourg, the cathedral. Others we have, which is probably my favorite, is in Bordeaux. It's where the ship leaves Blaye at the same time as the bikers, and the race is on. So basically the ship will go, the bikers will go, and we meet together in Borg. They're a lot of fun. Like I said before, they do range different styles, whether it be city, flat, through vineyards. But the one thing that we also say that, if we're docked in Rudesheim for the day, for example, and you just want to go off and kind of explore on your own, we have the bikes available for people who would like to do that as well. So the biking is wonderful on the ship, whether we have our, like Kristin said, our guides and our wellness hosts, but also an emphasis about, we're talking about active travel, but also with our excursions, we have different paces of walking as well. So the 3 paces that we would go for is regular, gentle, and active. And we'd always say that the gentle is we generally do the same things as the regular group, but it would just go at a slower pace. It would avoid cobbled streets or steep inclines, that kind of thing, or even taking a minibus to a slight further away part. So, and the active, of course, are for those who are maybe want to burn off the extra calories and walk through extra coverage. For example, in Strasbourg, we go through a lovely park in the Orangerie and we walk through. And also, talking about whether it's active or gentle, we have our wellness program as well, which is the wellness host is always there, whether it be for doing active and also non-active exercises as well.
Yeah, well, thank you, Nikki. And it's so interesting that you talk about that bike tour between Blaye and Borg, because I really love that one as well. But I just discovered a new one here in Belgrade. I had no idea how wonderful the bike tour in Belgrade is. Belgrade is actually a hilly city as well, but the bike tour is not going up the hills of Belgrade. It's going along the river through a nature preserve, and it's the 30th of November today. There were 20 people on the bike tour. They all had a wonderful time. The weather was it was chilly, but not too cold for the bike tour. So again, another big surprise to me. And we also have Milos here on board. He's our wellness host on the AmaVerde, doing an amazing job. And thanks to Kristin, we have a wonderful wellness program on all of our ships. Right, Kristin?
Well, absolutely. I truly believe that at least at this stage in life where we are looking forward to many, many more years. We want to extend our lifespan, and it's up to us to do something for it. So we introduced our wellness program in 2017. on our first ship, that was the AmaWaterways. And this, due to the success, expanded to 6 ships the next year, and now has long been available on all our European ships, as well as on the Mekong River, where our guests especially enjoy our sunrise and sunset yoga on the beautiful sun deck, overlooking this amazing scenery. And really, when the ships are next to the pagodas, it's just a once in a lifetime moment. But our wellness hosts are completely dedicated to providing our guests wonderful choices to maintain their lifestyle while on board. And just as important is making sure the 3 to 4 classes every day, and they are different classes, from stretching, Pilates, resistance band, maybe line dancing, circuit training. Really, there is truly something for everyone to enjoy. And most important, all the classes are fun, and our hosts are welcoming for those that may just be starting a new approach to fitness. And a river cruise ship is, of course, a beautiful, beautiful way when you are there and you don't have to plan when do you want to go to a fitness studio, when do you want to take a class. It's all there around you and in front of you. So we have heard from many guests how their new experience on board with our wellness host leads them to continue a more active lifestyle when they return home. And that is equally important. The morning and after group classes, sometimes we have 2, 3, or 4 people. Sometimes we have 20 coming together. And I see sometimes even people watching in the beginning, not quite sure if they should participate, but then the next morning, they are all there together. And I see from many guests, the favorite workout, no matter if it's inside the ship during the winter time or on the sun deck, is the champagne yoga. But there's something new we installed in the last winter season. Nikki, tell us all about our pickleball court.
Well, I have to confess that before last year, when I saw the pickleball courts, I had never heard of pickleball. And now it's all I hear about. There are competitions. I believe it's the fastest growing sport in North America. Even my parents are playing it now in the UK. So it's spreading everywhere. And of course, I mean, the best place to have the pickleball court is on the beautiful AmaWaterways. So it's there for all to play. The wellness host, of course, is there. And yeah, like I said, I never heard of it until last year. And then an hour later, I'm playing pickleball, and it's all I hear now. It's such a fun sport that anybody can do as well. So it's great fun.
And we do pickleball classes on board the AmaWaterways now as well. So it's really for every activity level. Yeah.
Well, and you can play, spring is a great time for all of these sports, but summer too. Summer playing pickleball on the AmaWaterways is just fabulous. So as we transition from spring to summer, I'm going to thank you, Nikki. We'll see you in a little bit, but I'm going to invite Samantha and Camille to join us again as we move from spring into summer, which is a season which I, of course, love because the days are very long. We have in summer, sunset is, depending on where you are, it's 9 or 10 o'clock p.m. And Amsterdam, it's 10 o'clock p.m., which means even after 10, it's still light. So, you're just sitting on the sun deck capturing pink, orange, all the colors, and sitting there with your cocktail. It's just wonderful to enjoy those wonderful longer summer evenings on our ships. And Samantha, I know you have cruised in summer on board of our ships. So why don't you share with us some of your summer experiences?
I would love to, right? I not only did I share it with my family, 3 generations of my family, but also my filming crew. We shot an episode on the AmaWaterways, and we were actually the one before on the Rhine as well. So I've been there a lot with a lot of people, and we definitely enjoyed summer and the longer days, because as a film crew, that means there's more opportunities for beautiful pictures. And so your guests are going to feel that same way. There's more time to enjoy, there's more time to get out and just sort of capture this moment. but one of the my favorite trips were along the Rhine. And what's interesting about the Rhine is it has these major, European capital cities, and I call them the exclamation points. And we get really caught up in the exclamation points. But that Rhine tour also gives us those commas. And actually, all of river cruising gives you both that exclamation point and that comma. And I always tell travelers it's so important that we enjoy and respect the commas, because the comma is where we reflect, but we're still enjoying our experiences. So for me, the Moselle is still, I've been on the Danube, I've been on the Rhine, but that Moselle, which is off the Rhine, I believe, and it's a 2-day little elbow excursion off the Rhine. Instead of doing a 7-day, you're going to do a 10-day. Oh my gosh, I would absolutely recommend that. My crew and I, we still talk about it because we gave the crew those 2 days off. And so we got to come up on board at night and have a lovely drink as we floated by these beautiful small towns. And then, of course, you're in the Moselle Valley, which is just loaded with Riesling, and you're drinking it and you're smelling it and you're seeing it. And it is just magical. And my kids, I was there with my kids and we had an amazing time. And Trier was one of my favorite places. And this is this is a stop that probably doesn't get a lot of people saying, oh, Trier. Am I pronouncing that correct, Kristin?
Yes,
Trier?
yes, you do. The oldest city in Germany.
It has those beautiful gates. And so you can visit the oldest city in Germany, but you can also enjoy everyday life there. And that's why I love these comma type cities, because my son and I just went for a walk. And we just right off the ship, we went for a walk and we found this incredible public pool with slides and tubes, and it was all of €5 to go in and enjoy the day. And so that's what the river cruise experiences offers you so much, is that you are not separate from those destinations, right? You are a part of them, and you pull right up and there are the gates, and then you walk right off and you can enjoy the everyday life of extraordinary places around the world. And so it's that beautiful balance that just river cruising alone gives you, of exclamation points and commas, but summer gives you that long day to really enjoy. So yeah, it's those are magical moments. Still to this day, when we just had a kind of a tough shoot with my crew, same crew that was on the I don't believe it was the Magna, but on that cruise with me, we always jokingly say, well, it can't all be the Moselle, can it? So when things get tough, we always bring back that magical time that is just so wonderful, where we all just got to relax and really enjoy the place.
Wonderful said.
Best way to describe it, Samantha, magical. You said it like 5 times and it just clicks a beat with me, because magical is the perfect description for the Moselle, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and if I can just jump into what Samantha was saying actually about the commas and the exclamation points, I think that's a really good way to say it. I never thought about it like that, but it's really perfect. And thinking of the Moselle and the Rhine, I think in France also, we have so many itineraries that are just about comma, 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 exclamation point, and then comma, comma. It's really just small, because you're going really through not 10 countries, but you're really going through one country, and even more locally in one of the regions, like Normandy, for instance, or going through Burgundy. So you're definitely just, docked really in the heart of that region, and the little villages, little towns. I'm thinking of where I live, actually, in Rouen. It is one of the bigger cities in Normandy, but it still has this village atmosphere. And also on the Saône River in Burgundy. So going with Yamacello, and we're stopped in places like Tournu, for instance, and that's just magical in the way that it is definitely a comma, and it's just what people really, really seek when you're discovering Europe and countries like France, definitely. So yeah, Tournu definitely one of the hearts of the Burgundy wine region also. So yeah, the French itineraries, a lot of commas and exclamation points also.
Yeah, and I think when you're talking to travelers, because I get so many questions, where should I go for there? And I always try to get into their mind of, well, what do you want? Have you ever done this before? What is it you hope to see? And a lot of people right now in their life, with their overscheduled life, their over digitized life, really just want to slow travel down to really still enjoy and savor, right? They don't want to be overwhelmed. They don't want to stand in a line for 5 hours. They don't want to be in crowds. They just want to be a part of what makes a place beautiful. And it's usually just what happens there every single day, especially in France, right? I mean, these are lifestyles that we have heard about our entire lives. And now we just want to enjoy them. And so that's what I'm like, well, maybe you should try, river cruising is perfect, but this is the itinerary you want to try if you're tired of doing the big and listen, I still love the big cities. I still have that big city energy, but I totally understand that traveler who said, I just want to enjoy and savor a lot more. And those are the itineraries that I know, Camille, you must really say, hey, try these, and do you find that people in the end, do they come in thinking, oh, I might not enjoy this, it's going to be too like every day, too maybe slow, and then they come out the end and think, wow, that is exactly what we needed?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, and France is the perfect place for that. Like Camille, you were talking about Tournou, and up there in Burgundy, like I recently discovered Beaune. I mean, so many people have never heard of Beaune, but this is just such an amazing place. And it doesn't really matter where you go in France. On any of our itineraries, you're going to discover places like that. Like on the Seine River, you're living in Normandy, Camille, so you know the place very well, like Honfleur. Honfleur is like picture postcard type of place. And Nikki before was talking about Blaye and Bourg on our Bordeaux itinerary. And in Bourg, we also have our exclusive wine festival, which is something so special. It's just such a tiny village. And like Samantha, you're saying, like, see the daily life. Bourg is the perfect place for that. And next year, we actually increased the number of itineraries that we have in France, because we have 6 itineraries in France next year. So not just Normandy and the Seine and Amadolce and Bordeaux and Amacello and Amacristina on the Rhone and Saône, but we have a new itinerary as well, which is the Flavors of Burgundy. So this cruise is a 7-day cruise from the new port of Dijon, famous for the mustard, of course, going to Lyon. So I'm really excited about this new itinerary for 2024.
Yeah, and definitely that itinerary will typically be really just focused on this specific region and just one river, the Saône River, which is, I find, probably one of the most beautiful rivers that we have in France. I mean, they each have their own characteristic and it's like going into a different country almost. I mean, France is so diverse, and it's, in the countryside, in the towns and the cities and the culture itself. But it's true that Burgundy, starting in Dijon, finishing in Lyon, or the other way around, you have the 2 exclamation points at either end, and then comma, comma, comma in the middle. And speaking about summer, because that's the focus of right now. Well, the summer month, I think that in especially, France is one of the most visited countries that we have. Having these comma moments are very important also, because you're away from the crowds, like Samantha was saying. And all the cities, and even like the big cities, the towns, the little villages, the locals, they really take care of where they live, basically. So they're really taking these floor arrangements, they're taking care of the storefronts, the town squares with all of these, bouquets, these flowers, and how they decorate the streets also. And like Wade was saying, the days are getting longer, and so everyone is outside much longer, just enjoying the cafes, having a cafe au lait, for instance, just enjoying the warm evening. And one of the highlights for me is, well, of course, I'm living really next to it, actually, the Giverny Gardens. Monet's Gardens. I know it's one of the highlights for Wade as well. Well, Monet's Gardens, beautiful, of course, any time of the year, but summer is kind of like, after the big blooming of spring, there's a different type of bloom that's coming up in summer, a little bit more wild, I would say. Some sunflowers are coming in as well. So Monet's Gardens is also a great place to go during the summer months. And what you see here, of course, from mid-June to mid-July, you have in Provence, you have the lavender field. So everything is just beautifully purple. And it's not just for the sight, it's also for the smells, of course, and sunflower fields. That's really something. It's not just in Provence either. It's a little bit everywhere in France. And that just brings the different colors and different palettes for the itineraries in France.
Well, Camille, you're right. I do love Giverny. I love those gardens. But when you're talking about France so much and about palettes, like I suddenly can't stop thinking about food, to be honest. And when I think about Burgundy, I have to start thinking about like beef bourguignon, which is one of my favorite all-time dishes. And that's one of the great things about not just, the sides and the flowers, but it's also, the food, like not just the food one can try in the local place, but of course on board as well. And we have, of course, the regional specialties, but we also have the seasonal ingredients. And, like in May, it's like huge for the asparagus. As you know, like end of May, beginning of June, everyone's like going crazy over the asparagus. It's the white asparagus, not the green one. So we're eating lots of asparagus. Of course, we have it on the ship. And that's followed by the rhubarb. And then late summer, it's the mushrooms, like lots of different dishes on board with the mushrooms. And I'm very fortunate to cruise right now because right now the menus are having a lot of pumpkin. And I'm a huge fan of pumpkin soup, and we have pumpkin mash. And being originally from California, but living in Europe, of course, I miss certain things. So I was thrilled that we recently had Thanksgiving and I was able to go on board and have pumpkin pie, of course, because that's not something I'm finding over here very much. And I tell you, our ships have the best pumpkin pie in Europe. So you have to come over in Thanksgiving and November and try the pumpkin. But it's great, just that our menus are changing over the season with the seasonal ingredients. And that we spend so much time reviewing the menus to have the best culinary experience we can on board, and also to make that part of the experience such a highlight. I mean, Kristin, how would you say like our menus evolve over time or over the years?
Well, of course, Wade, there is such an emphasis on seasonal produce. In the beginning, when we started the company 21 years ago, it was a lot about meat and potatoes and maybe sweet pieces of vegetable, but this has all changed. And it has changed in such a wonderful way that we incorporate so much more of vegetable forward cuisine, but still very tasty. So it still is all about the flavor and the presentation as well, because we always believe the eye is part of the whole pleasure when it comes to cuisine and sitting down together and enjoying a wonderful meal. But we have also just recently incorporated vegan and plant-based options on our menus for the ones who really would like to see this type of cuisine. We cater to pretty much all kinds of allergies. And what I hear all the time when I'm on board our ships, it's about trust. Everyone might have something different. And of course, we bake our gluten-free bread on board, the pastries. It's the trust to know that we are safe, the guests are safe on the ship. Because you never know when you go to all kinds of different restaurants, when they don't know you really well, certain things can happen. But I'm very, very proud of our culinary team, everything what they have accomplished, and not just that they got voted into the Chaîne de Rôtisseurs and Table des Auberges, those prestigious French culinary organizations. It is truly the wow they are creating on board all the time. And I feel for AmaWaterways, it's always about under-promising, but over-delivering. And this is truly what brings our guests back time after time, year after year, driving us to build new ships and discover new rivers. So, but
True,
also,
Kristin, and
yes.
No, sorry, go ahead, Kristin.
No. I just want to also mention, because Camille talked so beautifully about the markets in France. For me, one of my favorite bike excursions was actually the tour in, and I think it was in Rouen, the capital of Normandy, Camille, where you live. it could also have been Bordeaux or maybe both of them, where we biked in the morning when the markets were just opening and the vendors would bring out their fruits and vegetables and the pastries and the boulangerie, the bread. And there was an amazing scent of, coffee, cappuccino, and all these pastries while we were biking. And we would just stop there and get something. Even so, we had a delicious breakfast on board, but it was, again, indulging in what the locals do and seeing all these beautiful places in the cities, and of course, exploring it this way. And again, this is what sets AmaWaterways so much apart from everyone else. We give our clients so many different choices, from a traditional city tour in a deluxe motor coach to our walking and hiking tours to our biking tours, depending what you like the most or your families. We cater to everyone. And when I say this, we cater to everyone, that also includes multi-generational travel. And the summer holidays present actually the perfect opportunity to travel with school-aged children or the grandchildren. And we all know it's about the gift of travel today. It's not anymore about material things. It is about that precious time that we have with our children and grandchildren to spend together, to see everything through their lenses, their eyes, to understand the world together. So take advantage of the extended vacation time in the summer months to spend this quality time together. And a river cruise with AmaWaterways can bring classroom history lessons to life. Then my daughter was the first time on her river cruise, the youngest, she was 7. Later, her principal, who was married to a travel advisor, I always ask, can I take Isabella out of school? Yes, I will homeschool her on board. When we are traveling, he said, don't you even worry, because 1 month or 1 week actually on your river cruise ship is like 1 month of school. And I wish everyone would see it this way. And from here, I just want to go back to the Mekong as well. Some of you, or many of you, are receiving our Beyond the Riverbanks magazine that goes to our loyal guests. And there was just an amazing article in it about a family that traveled with their children in August last year, actually this year in August, to the Mekong River. So if you haven't received it, you can read the digital version on our website, or also within our connections library of blog articles. And our website, of course, is www.amawaterways.com. You find so many amazing things there, but think about this as a family also. Go to the Mekong. It will be a transformational trip for your family, for your children, especially when they are teenagers. Back to you, Wade. I think you're muted.
You were talking about the Mekong. It's such a... Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All good? Such an amazing cruise on the Mekong, because you're so into the life of the local people. And I was looking at this slide now. I mean, these are photos of you, Samantha. I love these photos because you recently traveled with your mom, right?
I did. We did a Christmas market a cruise on the Amaprima, the Rhine, and my mom hadn't been back to Europe in oh my gosh, I think this was her first time in Europe. I'm sorry, her second time. But she's of German descent, so I loved taking her and just being there. And I know Nikki was talking about this. She's a gentle walker, and so one thing she was really worried about was being able to keep up with everybody and just her stamina, especially on what you're seeing, cobblestones. And we always did the gentle walker tour, and she loved it because she didn't want to feel like she was like dragging, slowing down the group. but we had a lovely time. And Wade, just like you were saying, how adults get to like, decorate trees and they got all excited. Santa Claus comes to visit. I'm sure he just came to visit Ama Prima, none of the other ships, correct? But during the Christmas markets, I think everyone gets a visit from Santa Claus, and the crowd went wild. And what I loved about it is usually I'm there with my kids who are still, well, they don't believe anymore. But anyway, but like it's just adults like waiting in line to sit on Santa's lap, because we haven't gotten that chance in 50, 60, 70 years, and now we get to sit with Santa and tell him what we want. So it was a lot of fun. But I agree, the multi-generational trip is wonderful. When I took my kids, they were really young, but I was there with other groups of people, and I could hear grandparents talk to their teenage children about the history that had taken place along the Rhine, their generation, what they remembered, how the history lesson there is incredible. And I like to say, it's a great river cruising is wonderful when you're tired of showing the people love pictures of your vacation. You want them to be in the pictures as well, and this really allows for that. But yeah, we have a wonderful time, and we're looking forward to traveling very soon as well as a family on the Ama Magna.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we're definitely looking forward to having you back, Samantha, so when you're over here, I have to come and visit you. And,
Yes.
Talking about summer and, traveling with the family, it's a great time, Christine, actually, to remind people that pretty soon we're going to have new 14-day itineraries in France, right?
Oh, absolutely, Wade. And truly, I mean, the time is running. We are talking already about 2025. But we see a trend that our guests want to spend more time in the destination. A flight from, let's say, Los Angeles to Europe, Munich, 12 hours, going to France, maybe then 15 hours in case you need to connect. So you really want to spend more time there than just a 1-week river cruise. So because of that, what we are seeing, so many back-to-back requests, we are introducing 2 new Grand River cruises in France in 2025 with 14 departures each. And we have created very attractive pricing, which also includes the TGV transfer between the ships on the different rivers. And I'm saying attractive pricing because what we have seen post-COVID is that hotel city stays, weekend stays that so many people like to take. To book a hotel, the prices have gone through the roof. But when you look at our river cruises and the extra value that you get, it's not just the accommodation, it's the entire program. It's all the different tours catered to your personal interests, as we mentioned. It's full board, more than just 3 meals per day. We actually offer you 6 per day. So many drinks included, complimentary finest wines, beers, soft drinks, with lunch, dinner, champagne with breakfast, our complimentary sip and sail hour. All of this goes into this. So we have bundled our Grand Seine and Bordeaux together, where you go either first on the Amalura and you're cruising the Seine River, and then from there we transfer you to the Amadolce in Bordeaux, or we also have the Grand Seine and Rhône package, where we go first on the Amalura, again on the Seine River, and then from there we transfer you over to the Rhône and Burgundy, and you will board the Amacello and continue for another 7-night cruise. And of course, Camille talked earlier about the Saône River, which is like its own beautiful river system connected to the Rhône River. And you see so many beautiful places there. But we also offer you the Grand Rhine and Dutch canals, where you don't need to change the ship for these 2-week cruises. You might first go on a Rhine River cruise from Basel to Amsterdam on board our Amastella. And in Amsterdam, you continue through Holland and Belgium. And we don't do these cruises only during the tulip time. We do them throughout the entire year 2025, because these places, historic places, have so much more to offer than just the sites during tulip time.
Well, with that, Kristin, I'd like to thank Samantha and Camille for the moment for sharing some of your favorite summer moments with us. We're going to see you a little bit later, but now I'm going to invite actually Joanne and Nikki to join us as we transition into the beautiful autumn season. And autumn is another of your favorite seasons, right, Kristin?
Yeah, many say it's actually my favorite season because I just love colors. And when you look here at these pictures, the light, the sunshine, we see Porto actually here, we see the beautiful Rhine Valley, we see Bratislava, the castle up there, the Munich, Wilshofen Miniature Munich Oktoberfest on the lower part. There are so many reasons to explore Europe in autumn. Yes, for me, the vibrant fall foliage lining the riverbanks with the vineyards in their brightest yellow, orange, and red colors. It's so stunning. I could just stand on the sun deck, watch the scenery, and time could pass, and I so enjoy it. But as temperatures drop, our wonderful cruise managers and crew are always there to keep our guest spirit high and bring you warmth and comfort, whether it's by hand delivering a cozy blanket as you gaze at the colorful leaves from the sun deck, or by greeting you with a hot mug of Rüdesheimer coffee or punch or tea as you return from an afternoon shore excursion. So this is just part of the experience. It's part of this feeling so, so good. And Joanne, of course, you have filmed a couple of episodes for your PBS show, Plates and Places, while on board the Ama Christina on the Rhine River, when my namesake ship was still on the Rhine. Now, of course, it's on the Rhone. And later you came on board Ama Magna to the Danube River. You also hosted a group for a large group of your fellow followers on board our Ama Dolce in Bordeaux. What stood out in your mind in terms of culinary experience on board and ashore?
You know, Kristin, it's really interesting because it's cruising. I mean, I hadn't really done any cruising before Ama, and now I've been spoiled. But I am really shocked at the quality of the food and the wine. Honestly, these are world-class chefs making this wonderful, wonderful food and then serving it with wines that are of such great caliber. But I've been lucky enough to cook in the kitchens with the chefs, and I've really loved that. I love their focus that's on the freshest and the finest, the best ingredients. And honestly, they just love regional food, and they're so passionate about that. Yes, I was on the Rhine, and I loved that trip. And I always think of Rüdesheim coffee for some reason, but I love that trip. And what I did on that, one of the things that I made on that was choucroute, and I happen to love choucroute, and I made it with the chef, and we filmed it. And so choucroute is a dish with sauerkraut and also with all kinds of sausages. And it's so good, but it was just delicious. And then we paired it with a delicious Riesling wine that, of course, is so good on the Ama ship. And then also the other thing that I did in the Danube, which I loved, was I created we made the chicken paprikash. In the morning, I had gone with the chef to go shopping for paprika. And chicken paprikash is made, it's like chicken that's stewed with tomatoes and also lots and lots and lots of paprika. And we had bought the paprika in the market in the morning. And honestly, that was so, so delicious. And I will never forget that. I need to get back there because I've run out of paprika. So I need some more sweet paprika.
No, absolutely, Joanne. We have been delighted to have you develop recipes uniquely for AmaWaterways. We would love for you to come on board. And I love your shukrut wrap. Tell us about other things that you have done.
You know, there's a couple things. I hope you remember the salad that I created in your honor, because I made that salad with all kinds of citrus and also mint. But I also made this honey dressing that I drizzled over it. And then there was a little bit of these edible flowers that I sprinkled on top. And I hope you remember it. It was Kristin's salad. And that salad was so beautiful. I remember we did it on one of the sip and sails. And the other thing is the other drink that I love, which actually, I know this doesn't look like champagne, but this is actually the Danube 75, which I created for the Danube, being on the Danube. And it's a drink that is kind of modeled after the French 75, but this one is made with gin and it's made with apricot schnapps. I love that you love apricots. They're my favorite also. But apricot schnapps that we bought in the Wachau Valley. Talk about a beautiful valley. If you haven't been to the Wachau, you need to go on that excursion because it's so, so beautiful on the Danube. And anyway, what else? Oh, it's topped up with champagne. I forgot about that. That's very important. But anyway, and a little apricot nectar, which gives it that color. So anyway, if you're wondering what I was drinking.
This is so wonderful. And I know for so many of our guests, that is what they want. They want to indulge in the culture, in the taste, the sense of the region. It's all about that. And you certainly can learn about the different countries by tasting their different foods. And that is not just, of course, for Europe. It's for all the different countries around the world. So yeah, looking forward to having you again, Joanne. And very soon I will be on the Ama Christina on the Rhone River, and I will have the citrus salad again, 100%.
Excellent, that's great.
Well, that salad sounds wonderful, and particularly the choucroute. And it's actually dinner time here in Europe, so I'm thinking some of that choucroute with a nice glass of wine, you know, and it's November, so it's like we have all these wine cruises, and you know, Nikki's here too. Nikki's one of our cruise managers, but also one of our European wine hosts. I mean, all those celebration of wine cruises that we have are just amazing to pair with all that great food that, you know, Joanne is making for us and our onboard chefs. Nikki, tell us a little bit about our wine cruises and the celebration of wine.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I can be talking about this for the next 3 hours, but I'll try and keep it short. Yeah, I mean, we do over 70 celebration of wine cruises throughout the year. But of course, we're talking about autumn now. And what better time to be, you know, cruising in autumn than during harvest time? You know, especially, you know, Samantha was talking about the Mosel before. The Mosel in autumn is just stunningly beautiful everywhere, you know, because with rivers, you have wine regions because that's how they were generated there. It's just absolutely a charming time to be cruising, especially with regards to wine. But like I said before, we do celebration of wine cruises all the way throughout the year. And you know, these, you know, you have many people who are you know, very interested in wine. They're very knowledgeable about wine, or other guests just want to learn about wine. And we have a program on board, which we do with all the cruises, whether it being having a North American wine host with us or European wine host like myself, but we kind of keep the program the same way. We will do 2 tastings. We generally begin with the first one, which is Wine 101, to kind of familiarize people with knowledge of wine, tasting, and after that, of course, there is a tasting included. So we do the lecture about wine, about the basics of wine in the region where we are. And then the second tasting of the lecture will really focus on the region we're on, whether it be doing comparisons with wines from North America and Europe, or really kind of getting stuck into the wines in Europe. And then we have a sip and sail as well, where we usually showcase a specific wine, usually from a different region, just to show you something different. And my favorite has to be is when we do our wine paired dinner. You know, we've all been talking about food. I'm very hungry now. But as we mentioned, we do source our food locally to where we are. So if you're in Bordeaux, or if you're on the Rhine, you're on the Danube, generally the cuisine will be similar to that in the region. You know, the local produce is from the region. And my favorite thing is sitting down with the chef and making a menu. So we get the specific wines, specific food from the region, and we do a delightful evening of a wine paired dinner. So each course of the menu is paired, with a specific wine from the region or from North America, doing comparatives, it's my favorite thing to do. And actually, I will be doing a wine tasting very soon. So in 1 week today, I'll be embarking on the AmaCristina on the Rhone River. And I'm very happy that Kristin will be joining me as well. And I already have the wines, everything's ready, and we're going to do an introduction to rosé wine. Because rosé wine, you know, I'm sure everybody can remember from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what people were drinking. You know, it was kind of very inexpensive, sweet wine. Well, most of the world were doing that apart from one region. And that's where we're going to be next week, on the Rhone River in Provence, which are the absolute masters of rosé wine. And it's really inspired people and winemakers all over the world to make this style of wine. It's a dry, delicious, crisp wine. Like the one I'm drinking right now. And, you know, what we're going to showcase next week, for example, is the differences between the rosé wines, because the Rhone is a very long river, and it just, you know, many wine regions. It's just from the moment you begin to the moment you finish on the Rhone, there are wine regions everywhere. And each region has their own special way of making rosé. And like I said, what we'll do next week is really showcase the different styles. And we do that with all our celebration of wine cruises, is to really understand the local wine gastronomy and comparing with North American wines as well. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Cannot wait, Nikki. I know our sold out, but on the next departure, there is still a little bit of space in case somebody would like to join on a short notice. We might nail you down to stay and do another rosé tasting on that one.
No problem at all. I'll be there.
I think I'm going online right now and signing up. Oh, that sounds so
I mean, it makes me.
I really can't wait to meet you, because I know we're going to toast with some delicious wine. I really want to meet you and Wade. And I think I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, speaking of wine, I'm also a wine lover. I mean, if I wasn't a chef, I probably would have been an enologist, gone to school for enology. And so that's what I was saying about having such high caliber wines. I mean, they really are excellent, and you are doing an incredible job. I really mean that. I was so lucky, though, to host a group in Bordeaux, and I love Bordeaux. And I mean, I have such memories and experiences in Bordeaux, and it was so nice to be back there. And what I loved about the cruise was going all around the Gironde. It really gave me a great idea about how different the terroir is in all of those places. But I love the large vineyards. I love the small vineyards. The one that really sticks to continues to come up for me as this winery that we walked to, which was really fun. It was called Chateau Boutonnet. And it's a small winery. It's so special, though. It's run by a woman, and she actually owned by a woman, and she actually hosted it and did the most wonderful tour and talked about production, and I loved that. She even told us some really great stories, and I know they're doing some plans on renovation and restoration, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I hope I get to go back there at some point. But anyway, once again, I want to say how I think the food and wine is paired so well. And I also think that the servers on board really know the wines, and that really says a lot. And owning a restaurant, I know what that means. And I think it's great that you teach people even throughout the meals. I think that's really great. Anyway, I have to tell you something I'm so excited about, because I am going to host a tour in 2024 that is Flavors of Burgundy, which is the new cruise. And I cannot tell you how excited I am. I haven't been back for many years, and I have had this on my list for so long, and I am beside myself with excitement. And anyway, I just have to say that.
So Joanne,
That's going
your
to
date,
be
you want to maybe mention your date quickly in case somebody from our audience would like to join you.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. We don't have the dates yet. We don't have the exact date, but it will be sometime in the summer months, but we are working on the dates. But yes,
Perfect.
I'm so excited about Flavors of Burgundy. I love any Pinot Noir. I mean, that whole area is just incredible. Chardonnays and Pinot Noir.
Well, you know, it's funny we talk about the wines, and it's so great because so many of our itineraries have such great wines, and you learn about wines and the wine paired dinners. But even like Bordeaux, there's so much more. It's not just wine, you know, that's the great thing. You have the beautiful city of Bordeaux, you have the castle Roquetaillade, you have the amazing village of Saint-Emilion. So you can go on all of these itineraries, enjoy the wine, but also enjoy the sights. And of course, if you don't drink wine, then there's also the beer. You know, like if you're going to Vilshofen, we have our exclusive, you know, Vilshofen festival. So everyone is knowing about the Oktoberfest in Munich, which is running for a couple of weeks at the end of September. I mean, I'm not sure why Oktoberfest is in September. Maybe it's because they drank so much beer, they got the month wrong. If you cruise with us, you know, you can come every week to Vilshofen, where we have our exclusive Oktoberfest, and you see that we have our own beer queen welcoming you. It's always a really fun festival. And Joanne, I think you've been to the Vilshofen Festival, haven't you?
I have. I didn't dance, but I did go. I loved it. I love it. Well, first of all, I love mustard and I love pretzels. So I was in heaven with that, but then the German beer is so fantastic. It was really, really fun. I love the music and the dancing. I think it's accordion, right? As I recall, I love that music. It was really, really fun. Nikki, have you been?
Well, we'll get you dancing. We'll get you dancing next time, I'm sure. But and Nikki, you've been many times to the festival.
Many times, and it's so much fun. It really is. And just to point out that where we actually hold it, where we have the exclusive tent for the Oktoberfest, which is every week. So it doesn't matter if it's spring, it's autumn, it's summer, we celebrate this. And it's just a great way to, you know, get a taste of Bavaria when we're there. But just to mention that it's next to where we dock. So it's just a very short walk to celebrate the Oktoberfest. And it's fun. Like Wade said, we have the beer queen that comes. She gets people up, she gets people dancing. There are fun competitions. It's beer, it's pretzels, music, lots of laughter. And it really is. It's one of my favorite days on the Danube because it's just everybody gets together, has a lot of fun, and just really gets a glimpse into what the Oktoberfest and Bavaria is about.
You know, I'm still salivating for that mustard. That's the best mustard I've ever tasted. It's so good.
Well, if you go to the Moselle Valley and you visit Cochem, you can go to the mustard museum there, which is amazing, and taste all of the mustards. So definitely you have to go there as well. So
we filmed there, which was really fantastic. Yes, that was great. Wow. Loved it. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, Nikki was just saying, you know, like at the festival, Taste of Bavaria. And it made me think of something that we have new this year, which is Taste of Christmas, which is amazing. Kristin, tell us about the new Taste of Christmas cruises we've been having.
Yeah, so this year we introduced our Taste of Christmas river cruises sailing in November and the late season December. So it is a little bit before all the Christmas markets are opening up. However, select cities, including Budapest in Hungary, Vienna in Austria, and a few others, open their markets as early as mid-November. So allowing you to experience a taste of the festivities in Europe before the Advent season begins. So not every Port, where we dock, has a Christmas market, but some have, that's why we call it the taste. Plus, of course, Wade, and I know that you work so well with the team, that's the transition of our ships from the Thanksgiving decoration, fall decoration, into the full holiday decoration by late November. So we can dive right away into the holiday spirit.
That's right, Christine. I mean, there's two in my team, which is Jan and Milan, who are so passionate like me, you know, about the Christmas decorations, that we should have the most beautiful ships in Europe. And it really, really is true. And now as we jump into winter, you see our ships on the rivers of Europe, and I can assure you, like, not only do we have the most beautifully decorated ships in Europe, but actually our ships in a way are so beautiful, even on the exterior, they are an attraction in itself. Like, I was in Novi Sad last night, which had some Christmas decorations, but when I walked back to the river and I saw the AmaWaterways, it was like, wow, with that full moon and all the Christmas lights, it was just so magical. Like, our ships and the decorations, they really, really are magical. And I will invite also Samantha and Camille back to join us for the winter session now, as you see this beautiful photo of Lucerne, Switzerland. You know, I'm living in Switzerland, so I'm a big fan of Switzerland. And you are too, Christine, because you have a special place in your heart for Ingeborg, right?
Well, of course, I lived in Switzerland for 8 years, and when I look down, that is actually Lucerne, Lake Lucerne. I lived close to Zurich. It is absolutely wonderful. I think Zurich, the Bahnhofstrasse, was voted as one of the top cities in the world for the holiday and Christmas decoration. And obviously, when we go from the taste of Christmas to our full Christmas time cruises, that means we are cruising through the heart of Europe during the most festive time of the year and experience those timeless traditions of the magical Christmas markets, but also we celebrate the Christmas traditions on board. We have Santa coming, we sing the Christmas carols. You can help us decorating the Christmas trees on board. We will have a pickle hunting coming. There will be the goose in one of the Christmas meals, and the bread, we call it the Christmas Stollen, which my grandma, she was baking this Stollen from the scratch by herself, by hand, but she said, I can never give you the recipe. That is just not what we do. So I try to do it by myself. It's okay, but not as good as my grandma did it because she took it with her. But it's fun. It's wonderful. And Wade, you just mentioned your favorite Christmas market. I believe you said it's Novi Sad, where you just were last night. Is this correct?
Actually, I have to say, probably my favorite Christmas market would be the Turn in Taxis in Regensburg. But we're doing we're doing Gems of Southeast Europe for the very first time now, and I'm getting to experience it. And I didn't expect Christmas markets here because it is like an Orthodox area. So I was in Novi Sad last night. I was very surprised to get there with those beautifully illuminated buildings and a Christmas market there. And it was so amazing because they had what they called this singing Christmas tree. So it was like this big green, tree, like, I don't know, kind of constructed there with different levels. And they announced that this tree would be singing at 6 o'clock. We had no idea what to expect. And then out of nowhere came all these children, the school children, aged, let's say, 5 to 12 years old. And it was so amazing, the singing and the smiles on the children's faces and the parents of the kids. And they were singing songs in Serbian, not that we know, like not Jingle Bells, not Santa Claus, but their songs. And for me, it was a moment I'll never forget. Like, wow, I'm so happy to be cruising this itinerary at this time to discover new things here. So I wouldn't say necessarily maybe Novi Sad's my favorite, but definitely it was an unforgettable moment last night. And we all have our favorites. Like Christine, I'm not sure what your favorite Christmas market is actually.
Well, you're so right the way you say it. For me, so far, it was always Vienna, just because Rudi was born in Vienna on the Danube. We have spent so many magical Christmas moments there, and there are so many holiday and Christmas markets, not just the one, the most popular one that you see here in front of the city hall down here in this picture, but there are so many. But I have to say, it is so often about the hidden gems. And that's why I also look so much forward to our holiday cruise on the Rhone River in France next week. There, for the first time, I will see the winter markets in Avignon, in Lyon. And I know, Camille, Lyon is, of course, has a very special place in your heart. And along the river, I cannot honestly wait to explore these hidden gems. Mm-hmm.
Well, Camille, what is your favorite Christmas market? Because you're from France.
Well, even though I'm from France, my favorite is like you, Wade, the Turn and Taxis one, but the one in Lyon is a little bit different from what you have on the Danube and the Rhine, because one word is important there: food. All right, and cheese. And one of my favorite things to do there is just start, with an empty stomach or not, it depends, and go to one of the stalls where they do raclette cheese. So that's characteristic of also Switzerland, but because Lyon is so close to the French Alps, to the mountains, we have a lot of that raclette cheese that comes, and then they just scrape the cheese onto a potato, a piece of bread, and then you just eat your way through the Christmas market. That's my favorite thing to do at the Christmas market in Lyon.
I know,
I'm getting so
Samantha,
hungry.
you love the Rhine, even so your ship, AmaWaterways, on the Danube. But tell us about your favorite Christmas market.
Mine? Oh my gosh. I loved Cologne. It knocked my socks off. And I had been to the Nuremberg one, and then all around the Brandenburg and Friedenberg, all the bergs. We did all the bergs. And I loved Cologne because it's not, like you said in Vienna, it's not just one. There are 15 Christmas markets in Cologne, and each neighborhood, each community has their own. And you just inhabit this space that is totally decked out every inch for Christmas. I remember having fantasies when I was a little kid of Christmas villages, and I would go to bed at night so excited, but it was in my imagination. And when you go to the Christmas markets in Germany, it's being like a child again. It is such a discovery. There are ice skating rinks around big statues and down roads, and so people are ice skating in ways that they're inhabiting their city in different ways. And so in Cologne, you've got the major one that's right in the shadow of the cathedral. But my favorite one was a smaller one called the Village of St. Nicholas, and it was in Rudolfplatz. It was actually in a square named after Rudolph. So I thought, I have to go there. And there, my favorite thing to see was this man who was making spätzle by hand, where they take that big thing of dough and then it goes over the grate. Joanne, I'm probably speaking your language now, and it just kind of filtered down, and then you get it's just wonderful. But I love Cologne because like Joanne, I am like a 99.9% wine drinker. But when I'm in Germany, oh my goodness, the beer and the Kolsch. Am I pronouncing that right, Christine? Kolsch. Oh, I could drink that all day, and I did. So, but yeah, the Christmas markets for me, Cologne, it was like a childhood. It was like, oh my gosh, it's true. It's really here. So I think everyone wants that moment because that's what we've heard so much about, and it absolutely exceeds your expectations.
Well, we have new Christmas markets we're visiting too. So Samantha, you might have to check it out because we're now doing Christmas cruises in Portugal. And I know, Nikki, you're living in Portugal, right? How's that Christmas market in Lisbon?
Oh, it's fantastic. And what Kristin said about the taste of Christmas, is that we get to discover places where aren't typically renowned for Christmas markets, whether, you know, in Switzerland, along the Rhine and the Danube. But Lisbon is incredible. You have several different markets around the city. The biggest one is called Wonderland, and it's where people can go. It's similar to Vienna, where you can go ice skating. You have all the Christmas markets with lots of food. I mean, Portugal is all about food. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm going to make everybody even more hungrier now. But they have, like I said, the main one would be the Wonderland, but they have another one called Rocio, which is more dedicated to food. And, you know, in Lisbon and in Porto, everyone's always arguing who does the best pastel de nata, okay, the little cream tarts. Well, all the little shops, they all bring a stall and they're there in the market. So you can, like Camille said, go there with an empty stomach. And if you can go around trying multiple different pastel de natas, drinking some port wine, and the most beautiful thing is the smell of chestnuts in the air, because on every corner you have the little vendors roasting chestnuts, and it's just that smell in the air and enjoying the gastronomy of Portugal. And, you know, I always believe that with Christmas markets, it's a great way for a city or a region to really show off their culinary skills, because all little restaurants like to put a stall there, and it can be Christmas themed or just like Camille said with the raclette. You know, there's always food on these Christmas markets, so it's cold, it's Christmassy, and you just eat all day. It's perfect.
So I have never been to a Christmas market, and I'm so, now I want to go so much. When you said roasted chestnuts, I happen to love roasted chestnuts.
Me too.
I love them. Every time when I'm in Europe, and I just got back from Portugal, so I love Portugal, and it is true about food. But every time I think about going to a city and it's October, I mean, roasted chestnuts for me are like my favorite thing. But I have to now.
I just came back from the Amaduro. I was decorating it with Milan, and the Amaduro, it looks beautiful. I really have to say, it looks fabulous. And I should mention too, it's not just about the Christmas markets, because it's about the onboard activities. And Kristin mentioned a couple of those Christmas activities. So when we look at the next slide, you'll see that we have many activities on board. So it's not just about visiting the markets, it's about what's going on board. I know that Camille loves the Christmas cruises and loves to do the Christmas cruises, but I'm sorry, Camille, I have we've heard a lot about the Christmas pickle, and I'm currently on the Amaverde, as you already know, and there's 120 people looking for this pickle right now, and I have it right here with me for the pickle sale.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, we have so much going on. We have the cruise singing, we have a Santa, we have the Christmas tree decorating. So you should come for the markets, but you should come for the food, you should come for the onboard activities. It's just the magic in the air. And that brings us really to the new year, to New Year's Eve party on board. And with that, I have some very exciting news to share with you, is that we're going to actually start cruising earlier than ever before. If we move on to the next slide, you will see that for the first time ever, we're going to start cruising. Oh,
but before you go there, I just want to also say that we certainly go out with all the decoration celebrations on board, but we are also very inclusive. We incorporate decorations and celebration of wintertime holidays like Hanukkah and even Kwanzaa, right? Because we have guests from all over the world on board, and maybe they have joined us today as well. And just want to mention it is about traditions and religions all over. Mm-hmm. And now let's go into February. Maybe this becomes my favorite time of the year soon.
Well, yeah, you know, actually it's funny because these photos, they do show snow, but if I'm completely honest, I'm living in Rhine, on the Rhine River in Basel, and sometimes I'm sitting there in a light sweater with the sun shining, feeling a little bit of warmth from the sun, and even thinking, wow, the weather is better now than it is, I don't know, in October. You just don't know nowadays. So you might have magical, snowy days, but you might actually have days that they really feel like spring. So I'm very excited to say that we're going to start cruising in February, actually February 11th, right, Kristin?
Yes, yes, absolutely, we do. And I truly look forward to this. Maybe there will be a slight ice, a little bit of ice on the side of the river. And it's wonderful when the sun breaks through and you see the birds walking over this. It is just magical. So we definitely start on February 11 on board our AmaMagna on the Danube. And then, of course, go from there every week. And we start also on February 11 on the AmaLucia, cruising our captivating Rhine and enchanting Rhine River cruise. But Nikki, tell us a little bit more what our guests can expect or not expect.
Yeah, I mean, February for me personally is one of my favorite times to travel. Of course, I mean, everybody loves to travel, like we've been talking about spring, summer, autumn, and winter. But this just adds it's a little different. When you're out about in the city, it is quieter, okay, because many people are not traveling yet. And we're starting earlier, of course. So just moving around the city, going to museums, is going to have a more of a relaxed, quieter vibe to the cities, almost more local, if you will, which is why I personally love traveling in February, because you really, like I said, get the most of the city at a different time of year. It's more when the locals are moving around. You have local festivals as well, different things happening. But it's definitely my favorite time and very charming. And like Wade said, sometimes you can have beautifully sunny days, or like Kristin said, it can be snowing. So it's definitely a fun time of year to travel.
In any case, it will be very authentic, and good news too. Usually the airfares are not at the peak. They are more in the lower range. So for all the guests who feel they need to work a couple of more years to afford a river cruise, maybe that is the time to look into it, to get in touch with us and with your travel advisor, of course, and see what packages we can offer there. But I also see it from a different side. Ama means love. And what better time to travel on a luxury river cruise than during the season of love? So February in Europe offers these enticing attractions to express the unforgettable romance of Valentine's Day. And I have spent a couple of Valentine's days at this time in Europe. It truly is wonderful. And what better way to celebrate love than with a luxury vacation with your loved ones? This could be your partner, your spouse, your children, again, maybe the grandparents. There are so many things. But wait, tell us all about our renewal of the WOW package when we talk about love and maybe husband and wife want just to renew everything.
Well, like you said, we're cruising over Valentine's Day. I mean, what a great time to do a wedding vow renewal. So we have a wonderful package, and we offer like a symbolic vow renewal. It's usually done by the captain, and the captains do such a great job, and they're so proud, and they do a really good job actually bringing like tears to people's eyes, because there's so much happiness at these vow renewal ceremonies. But with the package, there's also, 2 complimentary massage plus a hair appointment for one, and there's the special turn down service and the extra special dessert and the bottle of champagne. So it really becomes a great event. And we do the vow renewal packages all year round, but I can't think of a better time to do it than either the anniversary or for the Valentine's Day. So definitely recommend it. And also, not just couples are coming at that time of year or any time of year, like you talked about, solo travelers. it's a great time for solo traveler as well, because we have so much to offer. And I think we even have some special discounts for solo travelers at that time too.
Yeah, we actually really thought this is the time where we would love to offer our solo travelers a waived solo supplement. So, and this will apply on the February and March 10 and March 17 sailings on the Magna on the Danube, and of course on the Amalea. So come and contact your advisor. Let us know if we can welcome you on board our ships, and no solo supplement on these departures. And this is valid for new reservations made by December 31st, 2023. It's an early access announcement that we make here, and your travel advisor will then definitely work with you together with our reservations team to set you up in your preferred stateroom. But again, it is a wonderful way to get to know river cruising on board AmaWaterways, and we will make sure we will pamper you and you will become part of our extended family.
That's wonderful news, Kristin, for all of our solo travelers. And I'm sure it's going to turn our new solo travelers into loyal guests as well. And with this sip and sail, we're also very excited and happy to announce special dates we have chosen for our loyalty cruises 2025, 4 cruises, one to coincide with each season.
So yes.
So here you can see.
We got everything right, all the dates. Yeah, perfect. So, so whether you have sailed with us just once or several times, we want to invite you to join us on one of our exclusive loyalty appreciation cruises. These unforgettable sailings offer truly exclusives to you, very special experiences designed for our most loyal past guests. And of course, you can choose your offer between free economy air or business class air for only $2,999, which is a great value. Or we give you a $1,000 per person cruise savings, or on these departures, they are outside of the February and March departures that I just mentioned. On these departures, we will offer you a very much reduced solo supplement of only 10%. And of course, everything is combinable with your past guest benefits. So we have had a great selection of loyalty sailings this year. We will have a wonderful series of loyalty sailings in 2024. And here we are happy to announce our dates for 2025, which include sailings on the Seine River, on board Amalura in April, the Gems of Southeast Europe, that's the lower Danube. Wade is right now in this area. In June, on board the Amabella. In autumn, our Rhine and Moselle Splendors. And this is actually on August 13. So going into harvest time, close to it, but still before. And our winter loyalty sailing, Best of Holland and Belgium, Amastella, November 15. And I mentioned in the beginning, our story began 21 years ago. Our very first ship, the Amadaccio, made its debut in 2006. And now we have a fleet of 29 ships cruising the rivers across 4 continents, Europe, Asia, Africa, and starting in November 2024, South America, along Colombia's fabled Magdalena River. And as we look ahead to the future, we are more committed than ever to offering innovative and sustainable ways for our guests to experience the rich culture and history found along the banks of the world's most iconic rivers. And I'm pretty sure to you, our audience, that many of your parents, grandparents grew up along some of these places along the rivers. And as such, I know we are a little bit over time. I think we are all very passionate about the rivers, our cruises, all the magical memories that we were just able to share with you, and the memories that we want to make together with you. So our story continues because of the love and support we receive from all of our guests and remarkable travel advisor partners. We want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season filled with sparkle and love, and an exciting 2024 filled with new travel memories on the rivers with your AmaWaterways family. Toast and cheers to all of you, and thank you so, so much for being with us. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Cheers.
Happy holidays.
holidays.
Cheers.
Cheers to you all, and thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our guest speakers, Joanne, Samantha, Camille, and Nikki. Of course, Kristin, our mentor, and to all of you, our guests, our new guests, and the travel advisors for joining us. And like as Kristin said, we're also passionate about it. We hope you are too. We hope to see you soon aboard. We wish you happy holidays and a happy new year. All the best to you. And cheers again.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Camille, Samantha, Nikki, and of course, Wade and Joanne. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Kristin. Thanks, Wade.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good evening, a good day.